Hello, and welcome to Parental Advisory New Media and Our Youth. Today's children, more than ever, are exposed to graphic images, sounds, and content never before seen in. To begin, let's talk about new media's role among young audiences. So, with the invention of the internet and the invention of various social media platforms such as Facebook and now Twitter and Instagram, new media has evolved into this content delivery mechanism that informs our youth of what's going on in America. It also provides education as to what is happening with important issues. And as a result, it's creating new values. Some of the problems presented with parents not having the media skills their children do is they don't know what to look for when their children are online. They could be accessing graphic material that's either violent or sexual in nature. They could be reading points of view that are just blatantly wrong and holding that to be truth. Um, and that has a negative effect on kids and the way that their minds develop. Let's move on to media literacy among parents. Now, according to Jasmina Demichik, from the Department of Pedagogy at the University of Zadar in her article, Learning and the Role of Family in New Media Environment. Parents are an inevitable media socializer. What that means is, depending on the parent and their role with media, that is how their child is going to behave with media. If the parent is vigilant and they watch what their kid is doing online, their child will more than likely stay out of trouble, and they will also have an understanding of what images they are seeing online and can get a full explanation from their parent. However, if the parent takes a more lax approach or is distant with communication and does not express feelings on an often case or often basis, then the child is going to wander through this material without an idea of what they're being. In order to prevent these problems from happening, according to Eric Rasmussen, parents and teachers need training and they need more skills than their children do. Now, Rasmussen goes on to write, in order to teach media literacy skills to children, adults, i.e., parents and teachers, should have higher levels of media literacy, although this is not always the case. Now, in Rasmussen's eyes, in order to increase media literacy for children, parents need to know what they're looking for. They need to know how to conduct a Boolean search. They need to know what's a credible source or an uncredible source. They need to be able to teach children how to detect bias in an article. They need to determine the currency. All these important skills that we want our children to have, adults need to have. Let's move on to consequences of media illiteracy. In her in one of her more recent articles, Stephanie Puckett Pepper, assistant professor at Arkansas Tech University, wrote, exposure to media violence desensitizes children and can lead to imitation. Now, if there is one thing that we have noticed since the Sandy Hook shooting of 2012, school shootings have been on the rise, especially amongst young people. I can't help but think part of this has to do with the overexposure of these violent events in the media and parents not talking to their children about these events and not recognizing the signs needed to prevent that. And as children become more desensitized to these images, we will see more of these. Finally, let's talk about things adults can do to increase their knowledge of new media. First thing they could do is they could stay up to date on current events. By staying up to date on current events, they will be better able to talk about current events with their children. By being able to talk about current events with their children, they will gain an understanding as to what their children are being exposed to or what they're not being exposed to. And then finally, the last thing they can do is just monitor